We're so excited to have each and every one of you here, and I can't wait to hear all the expertise that you have to share with us today. I'm going to go ahead and kick this panel off. Are we ready? Yeah. Okay, are we ready to learn a lot? I'm going to start right here with our beautiful nurse practitioner. What does integrated or holistic wellness actually mean in practice? Because I think we hear these words a lot, right? It's kind of been trendy because of social media to say words like integrated wellness or holistic health. But what does that actually mean?
So there are a lot of buzzwords, things that are circulating right now, especially on social media, of what is functional, integrative, holistic, and what's the difference? How are they different from going to just a traditional doctor's office and getting care? A lot of functional and holistic medicine is focused on looking at keeping you well. The goal is not to fix a symptom, it's to look at why you have a symptom. And so especially here at Level Wellness, we look at the whole person. We take a 360-degree view of everything that's going on in your life, looking at your physical health, your mental health, your skin health, and everything on the outside. We really want to take that all into consideration and look at how you can make small changes in your life to address the issues that you're having, and also how to keep you well holistically, and things that you're doing now that will make a big impact on your future and preventing chronic illness, which is where we all end up in traditional doctor's offices.
And I think that as someone who also went to an integrative school in New York City, I think it's important to remember we're not saying that traditional medicine is bad, right? We're just saying that you have other modalities you can tap into, whether it's integrative medicine, whether it's Chinese medicine, whether it's whatever it is for you, right? There's just a lot out there. And I think that they can all be incorporated together versus thinking that you need to only choose one path. They can actually be used very symbiotically, right? And then that was kind of where I was going with that. I'm going to go over to Trent, leaning into like the nervous system and structural health, right? Trent is a chiropractor, doctor. And what are some physical symptoms that people ignore that are actually signs that our body needs support?
You know, I think the most important thing whenever we're looking at the body as a whole is people are so used to saying like, oh, you know, I'm stressed out today. Oh, I've got, you know, some pain in my neck, something that's going on that is just causing you a physical stress that is chalked up to routine life, whatever you're doing on a day-to-day basis that you're just used to at this point. And those things really become a problem just over and over time. You know, if you keep saying that for 10, 20, 30 years, you're going to slowly start to deteriorate. And that's what we're trying to avoid whenever we think about functional, holistic wellness. Spinal health is just making sure that we're moving appropriately and taking care of things before they become a problem. And so if you can take care of yourself now at the ages that you all are, you setting yourself up when you're 75 and you have grandkids or great grandkids, you know, those kind of things. Like, you know, you want to look at protecting your spine, keeping your nervous system healthy, but also looking at what am I doing now to set myself up for the future? And all of those just play hand in hand as you look for wellness and what you want to do going forward.
Can I get a show of hands in here? And if you don't want to answer, that's totally fine, but I'm super curious. How many girls here are under 25? How many girls here are under 35? Okay. So what I think is interesting, growing up, I never realized that your dentist, your chiropractor, they all work together. Like they're all a part of your like overall health. Growing up, I was told if you're sick, you go to the doctor. If you're sick, you go to a nurse. Instead of, oh, maybe you should go try acupuncture or a chiropractor because you have a lot of stress building up and it's causing tension. And maybe that's actually what's going on versus you need to be on an antibiotic because something's wrong with you. Or gut health, right? Dentists are actually like a prime person to look at your gut health because your teeth health are a factor that affects your gut, right? It's all tied together. And growing up, I feel like we never heard about any of that.
Yeah, I think, you know, thinking about dentists, it's like that's the first part of digestion. What's going to happen is everything works itself down into the stomach and how you digest. But, you know, playing off of why chiropractic is such a really cool thing, you know, instead of waiting until your body's breaking down on using wellness is you've got multiple stressors in your life, whether it's physical, mental, psychological is a huge one, right? Everyone thinks like, oh, I'm so stressed out. I've got all these knots in my shoulders. your body takes that on as you get stressed out, and really you just feel that projection. And then also think about things you're ingesting, like that chemical stress, like any kind of food that doesn't sit well with you, that has a physical component eventually to it if you just continue doing it over and over again. Just with, if you sit at a desk all day, or if you're a construction worker and you're always bending over and doing those things, or repetitive motions in the gym, if you're not doing them appropriately, like over time, those things all have physical, mental, and then a chemical stress on your body that you want to really try to take advantage of early on and learn the things to set yourself up for the future.
I have a question. How many girls in here work a desk job? Couple of you? Okay, so for these girlies, as I know a lot of people work desk jobs as well. I know we're in this like weird limbo now where a lot of people work from home or like hybrid jobs, but what would be some tangible things that they could do that could help them? Because they are just sitting at a desk, or maybe people drive in their cars a lot, right?
I think a really easy thing is just having a routine of time during the day where you stand up and take a lap around the office, or just even have a timer that goes off once an hour where you get to just kind of do a reset, kind of find that good posture moment, and just, or if you have carry a band around in your purse, do some little exercises where you can work on posture and just sitting back and being more upright, just to kind of take you away from, being at a desk. And it's just trying to do the opposite of what you're doing for, 8-10 hours a day. Even if you're working from home, right? If you get to sit in bed, or, if you do have a standing desk, that's phenomenal. But even standing for too long, you kind of lean one way or the other. It's like you got to reset a little bit and try to find different places to do work.
So basically, I don't know if any of your moms told you your whole life to sit up straight, but my mom did. So just hear that voice in your head every time you feel yourself like this, and just sit up a little bit taller. And also, I think the reset is really important. I have astigmatism, and recently I've been having a lot of issues with my eyes. And my ophthalmologist was like, something you can try is if you're staring at your computer all day, 20 minutes, and then look far away, look outside, reset, recalibrate, and then come back to the computer screen, because that computer screen is killing our eyes, girls. Like, I swear I wasn't blind, and now I'm blind. I don't know what's going on. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Tara, Sasha, whoever wants to answer this, root cause healing. What are some of the biggest root cause issues you see in your patients today?
So a lot of times we think root cause, I like to think of it as we see what's on the outside, right? So think of it like a tree. You see the trunk, or you see the branches, you see the green leaves, but you don't actually see the roots of what's going on. And so a lot of times we come in and we complain of, my stomach hurts after I eat, or I don't sleep well. But looking at the root cause of those issues really helps us to identify what's the actual problem, not just treating the symptom. So a lot of root cause things that we see are snoring or not sleeping well at night, digestive issues, and really digging into those problems and identifying what's causing it. How can we address that by making small tweaks that are day-to-day adjustments and feel better overall?
I love that. I think that's so true. As someone who went to an integrative school, the root cause was never discussed growing up, right? It was like, you're sick, you go to the doctor, you have a runny nose, you take antibiotics, you get a cut, you put a Band-Aid on it. But like, really, that's just treating that physical thing, right? For a minute, right? It's treating those symptoms for like a little while, and then you actually feel worse over time. So I love that we're really like delving into this world where people are super curious on how can I be better? But I think that we've also made it too complicated, right? I think at the end of the day, I have people come up to me all the time. Do you think I need to do this, 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 and this? And I'm like, well, are you sleeping good? Are you getting proper nutrition? Are you stressed? Like, let's take care of the basic things first. And then once you've optimized those, that's when we can be like, all right, I want to do 10 minutes of red light every day. And I want to do, but I think that we're really overcomplicating our health journey. Keeping it super simple will always win in the long run. Do you agree?
Yes, for sure.
What are some common symptoms people they think are normal, but they're really not? Like, that could be, inflammation, I know you kind of like covered that a little bit, but is there anything, I guess I want to dig a little deeper into the gut health, because I don't know about you girlies, but my gut sometimes can be all over the place. You eat something, you're bloated. You look at something, you're bloated. So I don't know who wants to delve into that, but like bloating is really, it's a problem in this day and age with the foods that we're eating, our environments. What are some things that we can do, some practical things that we can start implementing in our daily life to start paying attention to that and to start hopefully making it better?
I think we're really oversaturated this day and time with all the trends. There's tons of trends and you want to try them all and all at one time. And then that just gets you in way more trouble than you were initially. So my suggestion would be to just start slow. Find some basic things to just start slow so you don't overwhelm your gut. Your gut is truly like the brain of our body. I know we have a brain, but your gut controls everything. It is the root cause, like Trent was saying too. Tons of stuff that are going on. If you map it back to your gut, you'll probably find the issue. I would say just starting slow with incorporating fiber into your diet, making sure you're super hydrated. Water is so important. You can do some fermented foods. You can get trendy with some of that. I would stick to some basics, just like sauerkraut, kimchi, even yogurt, some things like that. Just very basic stuff. Stay away from the drive-thru as much as possible. Super bad for us. Cook at home, healthy things. Monitor what you're putting in your body. And then really the most important thing, and people don't realize it, is sleep. Regulating your sleep. Your sleep truly controls your gut health, and making sure that there's a good balance with that will be a great place to start.
What would be your top recommendation for girls that are like, I get really poor sleep, where can I start?
That's really hard. Trying to go to bed at the same time every night, basic, just super basic. Invest in a good tracker. Some sort of watch that tracks your sleep is a really good visual way to see, oh, wow, I had a 20 sleep score. I might need to work on that. So cutting the TV off earlier, stop looking at your phone earlier, going to bed at the same time. Just doing all the little things that you can just to maximize your sleep.
When I was doing one-on-one coaching, my specialty was working with women who had hormonal imbalances. And what I found while working with those women was that a lot of them had PCOS, and it was affecting their period, right? They would only get their period maybe once a year. I had one client that got it once every 5 years. When we healed her gut, and I know that's kind of a taboo term, but when I say heal your gut, it really just means to like get some symbiosis back in there, right? So good bacteria, feeding the good bacteria, eating the right things, getting the good sleep, taking those stressors out of her life. She now gets her period every single month. And she went 9 years without getting a period one time. So it's truly incredible. I've seen it firsthand, what just taking care of yourself and your gut, and stop listening to the trends, because literally you and you are all going to be different. So what works for me won't work for you. It's trial and error. Your life is kind of like a little science experiment. And just if I can give you any piece of advice, do one thing at a time. Because when you try 5 things at one time, you don't know what's working, right? So if you are trying to get healthier, swap out one thing in your life. One thing, test it for a month. If it helps, great. If you notice no differences, try something else. That would be my biggest.
It's really a slow, patient process. You have to be patient about it and not get frustrated and overwhelmed.
What are some nutrition habits that you think truly move the needle for long-term health?
Definitely incorporating fiber. You've got to have fiber in your diet for your gut microbiome to be functional like it needs to be. Building your meals around protein, super important to add protein. Again, staying away from processed sugary foods. It doesn't mean no sugar. Just watch your added sugars in things. That's where you get in trouble, and they're hidden in sauces and different things like that you don't even think about. Just pay attention to stuff like that. Again, hydrate. And something I always like to tell people is when you're grocery shopping, stay on the perimeter of your grocery store. Don't get in the middle. You get in a mess in the middle. That's where all the junk is at. Stay on the perimeter. That's where all your good, healthy stuff is at. And just try to focus on that.
And I know protein can kind of be confusing, right? Some people are like, you need 100 grams, you need 400 grams. And you're like, whoa, how am I going to get 400 grams of protein? Keep it super simple, right? Like whether you want to lose weight, whether you want to gain muscle, 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per your body weight is where you want to where you want to be with your protein intake. Again, you you don't even have to track these things. Like for me personally, all I track in my day-to-day life is protein. So I count my protein for breakfast, my protein during my snacks, my protein at lunch, my protein at dinner. I'm just trying to eyeball it and make sure I'm getting near where my goal is. Everything else, I don't track. I don't track calories. I don't track fats. It's not as important, especially if you're in the beginning of your journey or you're in a maintenance phase. It's not as important to get into the nitty gritty. I think that you'll overwhelm yourself, and the stress from overwhelming yourself will be it will hurt you far more than just focusing on changing one thing at a time. Again, that's in anything in your life, right? Like change one thing at a time.
Yeah, do it slow. So
Do it slow. Blood sugar balance. I think this is a big one, right? So a lot of us girlies, we've started to notice that our blood sugar levels are not staying consistent. Our cortisol levels are rising. What are some things that we should be aware of and that also would help us to maintain better levels?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of more data and more knowledge, especially now that the world of GLP-1s is out and circulating and popular right now, of how to stabilize and regulate blood sugar. A lot of times we don't realize when we eat, that blood sugar can shoot way up and the body works to bring it back down. So we're living this chart, this high graph. And so looking at what we're eating and just trying, like Sasha said, avoiding those really sugary added things that spike us really high up and give us that tiredness and after that meal or that sugary coffee in the morning, especially if we hadn't had protein, really does wreck our systems. And so if we can just regulate and get in a pattern of eating that gives us more of a stable curve instead of high highs and low lows, that helps us in the long term to regulate our digestion, how we feel, how we sleep. All of that is really important. And if we keep our body consistent, knowing how much glucose is coming in and knowing what our blood sugar is going to be, then we can rely more on burning our fat as energy than relying on that sugar surge and that glucose spike to get through our days. So we've got to train our bodies to work for us.
Yes. And for anyone who wants a super easy, tangible takeaway from this, if you drink coffee or matcha in the morning, put collagen powder in it. 10 to 15 grams of protein right there before you've ever even eaten your meal. It helps me so much. And I drink matcha in the morning and coffee in the afternoon. And if I do 2 scoops of collagen, I've already hit like 22, 23 grams of protein just from the drinks that I'm already drinking, right? Also, really try to avoid lots of oat milk early in the morning. It's really high in sugar and it will spike your glucose levels, which what that means, right? When we say spike your glucose levels, one, it's going to cause your hunger cues to be all over the place. And that's when it's going to cause you to start snacking, start eating things that you wouldn't normally eat. It's going to cause your blood sugar and your cortisol levels to spike. And then you're going to shoot down and you're going to have a really crappy day, right? You're going to start off like, oh my God, I'm on top of the world. And then the rest of your day, you're just down here, right? And that's not what we want. Over time, I swapped my coffee for matcha in the morning because I like a day like this. I don't know about you guys, but me feeling like this and then on the ground, it's fun for a second. And then I'm like, okay, I'd like some stability and normality in my life. That change for me was huge. So highly recommend it. I want to throw it back over to you.
You have one.
Oh, yes. Give us your knowledge.
Yeah, if you think about, you're not saying about cortisol levels and knowing, I think it's really important to know where you're at, like levels wise. So getting a blood panel done, understanding what's happening in your body at like this moment so that you can like make some really good steps. But again, consistency is key. You're not going to make any changes if you just try one thing and then stop and then try another thing and stop. It's like you're going to get in that cycle of never really changing. And then something that's really important with cortisol levels in food, it's like, we're always told like the only way to lose weight is to, eat less calories. And it's not always true. And especially for women, you guys have a little bit harder than men in this standpoint of, you may be in a deficit, but if your cortisol levels are super high and you're not getting good sleep, you're just going to actually put on weight sometimes because the body's in this fight or flight mode and is like trying to protect you. And so really sometimes thinking about, okay, I've got to increase my calories for a bit, and you may put on a pound or two doing that to start, but then you're going to see it kind of come down on the other side. it's going to seem really stressful and like something you don't want to do, but it's going to help kind of reset you and get you to a good level where you're not stressed out and have those super high cortisol levels so that you can actually let go of some of that weight that you want to.
So I, growing up, played sports. And the only time I ever went to a chiropractor was like I threw my hip out, or like you wake up and your neck's in massive pain, right? You're like, I kinked my neck and it hurts and I can't move. Have to go see a chiropractor. That was me, at least. I know that's not how you're supposed to, right? Like now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, a chiropractor is supposed to be everyday medicine, right? So explain to me why we shouldn't just go see a chiropractor when we're in pain.
No, it's true. And that's how I got into chiropractic actually when I was younger. That was kind of sports injuries and the same thing. But learning more about what a chiropractor is looking at and what they should be looking for from taking away that stress of the body. It's like building it into your routine of wellness. Unfortunately, you get into you hear it's like, oh, once you go to a chiropractor, you have to go for the rest of your life. That's not true. It's almost one of those things where you're going to get into a routine where you know your body well enough. And like, that's my goal, is to teach you things to do at home. And then, you come in for those routine things to kind of keep the nervous system in check, to kind of keep everything moving as appropriately as you can, depending on what your goals are. I have patients that come in just, they want to come in and get adjusted. That way they don't have to do as much outside of the office. And I'm like, all right, take a little bit of ownership for yourself and like learn some of these things. But then whenever you do tweak something, it's like, okay, we may need to kind of pick up care a little bit more. But just making sure that you're working on yourself day to day as well. It's like chiropractic is a passive thing. Like I'm doing a lot of those adjustments for you. It's like pairing that with the active stuff, the movement, the working out, the runs, and like just taking care of your body, all the recovery that you can do. That's what really makes it, all right, I'm not just going to the chiropractor to get adjusted. I'm going to the chiropractor to check out what's going on, figure out the symptom, like figure out why this is happening. And then we can kind of take care of it together and not just me adjusting and out the door. It's one of those things.
I remember you told me the other day the story about the kid who played football.
Yeah.
I love that story, and I want to lean into it because leaning back into that kind of myth of once you go to the chiropractor, you always have to go back, right? I remember thinking that, like, oh, if I consistently go, I'm going to have to keep going back to you.
This is my favorite story. As a chiropractor, I was had I think he was seventh grader come in. He just started playing football. They got through the first game, and he hadn't been to school in like 2 weeks. He had migraines, like couldn't get out of bed. Mom took him to a neurologist, doctor, like everything, meds weren't working, couldn't touch it. Like he's like, I can't hardly, see almost, like that's how bad. And like, think about a 13-year-old, or 12-year-old like that. And it's like so debilitating. And he comes in and we're just, he'd had the MRI, had an x-ray, everything was clean. There's no issue from a, structural standpoint. And I'm like, okay, we're going to adjust, his upper vertebra. And, one adjustment, and his eyes opened up so fast and he's like, it's gone. Like, it was so cool to see. Mom's crying, like tears just in the corner. And it's like one of those things. And, for that, like he was good. And, he's 12. It's like, he didn't need to come in weekly after that. Like the pain was gone. And so he, would come in if something tweaked, or if he, felt a headache coming on, we would adjust. But, after that, it was really cool to see the power of just like one adjustment in a symptom like that no one else could figure out. Now it's like, yes, it's super important to have gone and got the CT scan to rule things out, to make sure there wasn't a structural damage. It's football. Like it's a contact sport, but bodies are amazing. They're developed and kind of designed that way to take forces. Otherwise, hockey wouldn't be a thing. That's for sure. It's like we're designed to be strong. And so it's like taking care of yourself and, kind of allowing your body to do what it's supposed to do is a really cool thing.
I love that. This question's for all three of you. So whoever wants to go first, what are the top 3 habits that made the biggest difference in your health journey?
I'm going to go first so I can steal a couple of these answers. For me, we've talked about sleep. Recovery is so important for myself. Lovely part of working here is that I get to come in before anybody else and utilize some of the services. And so building the consistency, but making sure that I'm sleeping well, with working out. For me, diet, a lot of stuff, from a gut issue. I just eat as much whole foods as I can, and on this, journey myself, and have done really well there. And then last one for me, workouts in the morning are huge. If I don't work out in a day, like I feel it, and just kind of building that consistency. So first thing in here is red light, and then hit the gym, and just making sure I get that in, and then my day is set for that. If I try to wait till the afternoon, I get in that, I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed, kind of thing. So
For me, first thing I would say is I broke up with the scale-ish. I used to get so fixated on that number, and I finally had a trainer who frames it for me in saying that your number on the scale is nothing more than your relationship with gravity to the earth, and it doesn't tell you you're actually healthy. And so stop focusing so much on that number. I undereat, which I get told that all the time. I'm like, you might lose some weight if you eat enough food. I'm like, God, I don't have time. But that's a huge thing of like, don't get so fixated on the number. Make small changes that make big impacts over time. That'd be my first recommendation. My second one is sleep, which all of us will probably hit that one because it's truly a reset. You recover and you heal, and your body does its best work when you're sleeping. And so if you don't get good sleep and that's not a priority, you can't ever start fresh and rejuvenated and ready. So your cells need it, your brain needs it, your body needs it. So sleep. And the third thing is just joy. You have to enjoy the things that you're doing, and it can't be a job. So whatever you're doing to take care of yourself, you have to want to do that. I hate running. I ran a marathon once. I was miserable, okay? Don't do things that they're not for everyone. So it's just finding the things that you want to do, right? Find the things that you want to do that fuel you. I take long walks with music, and that's my mental health time. That's my movement time. And that's my mom quiet time. So it's like find things that give you joy that incorporate into your health journey.
For me, I think that truly grasping and understanding that there's only one me, and it's my responsibility to take care of me, nobody else is going to do it, was the bottom line. To know that I have to put myself first. I have a lot of priorities in my life, but I put myself first and take care of myself. And in doing that, sleep. That is so important. I'm a very early riser, so I go to bed early, and I'm consistent with that. I know it matters. I know it makes or breaks my day, so I do it. No, it's not negotiable. Nutrition, super important to me. I'm a very boring eater. I do like to eat out. I am a foodie, but during the weeks, I am very structured, regimented with what I eat. I get made fun of a lot for eating the same thing every day. It's cool. It's me. It works for me. And exercise, weightlifting. We have to build muscle. We can't, just because you're the smallest person in the room does not mean you're the healthiest person in the room. You have to have muscle, and just prioritizing yourself, making yourself first, making time. Everything can wait if you focus on yourself. It'll all work itself out.
100%. I'm going to tell you guys my 3 because they're very different. I actually used to think that I needed to wake up at 5 a.m. to be successful. I was like, oh, if I don't wake up at 5 a.m., if I don't go straight to the gym, if I don't go straight to work, I can't be successful. And then I was like, but wait, I own my own business. So I'm not going to get in trouble if I don't get to my desk at 8 a.m. And when I realized that, I'm like, I worked so hard to create this life, right? Like I worked really hard to be able to be my own boss, right? It wasn't always that way. And then I had this thought, oh, I could work out at a time that best fits my schedule this week, and the world won't burn down. I could sleep in till 7:30 and the world will keep going. Or I can get up at 5 a.m., right? Like I got up at 4:30 this morning to get ready for this event because I love these events. But the mindset shift I had when I stopped thinking that I needed to do something in a way that somebody else told me was the right way, right? I think that the right way is the right way for you. 2, social media. I know that we all love social media. We all live on social media, but social media can make or break us, right? I had this realization a few years ago that I don't have to follow everybody. I can love you and not want to see your content, right? If it's content that doesn't make me feel good. Backstory, I modeled my whole life and I lived in this state of comparison forever. And I never realized that I had that power to say, I don't have to follow these accounts because all I'm doing is looking at them and thinking, I wish I was that tall. I wish I was that skinny. I wish I was that pretty. When none of that was real. Social media is a snapshot of people's lives, and you do not have to follow everyone. So curate your social media to be what makes you feel good. Just like we curate our friend group, we curate our house. Let's curate our social media to be a space that makes us feel loved, accepted, happy, right? We have that power. And then the last thing for me that's truly changed my life is really treating every single relationship like it matters. That includes the relationship with myself, right? So if I'm going to water my relationship with my fiance, my relationship with my friends, but I'm not watering the relationship with myself, then I can't really be living my best life, right? And if that means that we need to scale back on the things that we're doing that aren't filling our cup, then that's what it is, right? But reevaluating my life and saying, these are the friends that I want to put time into. This is the job that I want to put time into. This is what I need for me. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's a bath. Maybe I need to not talk to anyone for 48 hours because I need a mental reset. Right? But just remembering that you have a choice in everything that you do. It's your life, right? So if you're unhappy or you're not where you want to be, just remember that tomorrow you have a choice when you wake up, right? Okay. I want to do a couple myth busting questions. What's a wellness myth you wish more people understood?
Mine is that carbs are not the enemy, ladies. They have been demonized for so long, and we need carbs. We need carbs for energy, especially if you work out. You need to carb load before your workout so that you actually have something to burn and you're not burning off the good stuff. We don't need all the bad carbs. They're not bad sometimes, but just not all the time. But you definitely need carbs. I think that's a big myth that we hold on to, and we try to live this absolutely carb-free diet, and it's not beneficial. You're hurting yourself doing that.
I think mine would be right now, you can't detox and supplement yourself into healthy. I think that's a trend of what can I cut or what can I detox or how many vitamins can I take, which I'm not saying those are bad things. They definitely have their place. But if we're not doing the foundational work to be healthy, no peptide, no crash diet, no supplement, nothing else is going to work how it's supposed to if we're not moving our bodies, fueling our bodies, and taking care of ourselves.
That's literally why it's called a supplement. You're supposed to supplement with it.
I would say mine, specifically for you ladies, is that lifting is not going to make you over muscular. I don't want to say it, but it is. You've got to eat right for it. But really, looking at and having, we've got our DEXA, and we get to see some lean indices on that, but also your bone density. As you kind of get into menopause, especially like muscle is so important, but also lifting weights is what keeps your bones dense. So as you kind of hit that, estrogen crashes, and then bone density goes along with it, and so you get into these areas where it's like now you're in a scramble to go lift for the first time. And I know y'all are definitely on the trend of working out and doing those things, but it's like get under a bar, do some squats, do some shoulders, do some arms. Like you're not going to get overly musculature, and it's like it's so important for setting yourself up for whenever you do go through menopause at some point in time.
Absolutely. I have a quick rapid fire. Cold plunge or sauna?
Cold plunge.
Okay. What about for you?
Sauna.
Sauna.
I hate being cold.
Walk or run?
Walk.
Walk.
Weights or Pilates?
Weights.
Why? Why?
Just works better for me. It's what it works for me. It might not work for everyone, like we were talking about earlier. It's what I love.
Absolutely. I love that. I want to open up the floor now for anyone that has questions. We have doctors, we have physicians, practitioners, nurses. We've got people up here who can answer your questions. You guys are going to get to experience some of these services in a little bit. Do you have any questions about the services, about your health, about anything that you want to ask, anything at all?
Ask the chiropractor.
Okay.
How bad is it to crack your back?
There's a twofold answer, I guess, here. If you're doing it in a like way where you're stretching, if you're going through like a normal motion, that's just a release that your body needs to have. Like you can, if you're just like, all right, I'm going to stretch my neck and go through nice and slow and controlled, great. If you're like Joe back there and you go and you do that quick little turn of your neck, or you lean over a chair, like something like that, not the greatest. Quick little thing is that like the way that the spine specifically, but any joint of the body, is like whenever there's a decrease in motion, the joints above and below it have to take over that motion for it. And then that's where degeneration starts to set in after inflammation. And so my job is to find that spot where it's not moving appropriately, because the other ones do move really appropriately, or over. And so those ones are the ones that are actually cracking whenever you crack your own, because you're not finding that spot, even though it seems like, oh, it's a great relief, but then you need to do it 20 minutes later. And so it's like, if you can get that spot and kind of get that motion back, then those other joints can kind of get back to normal. And so it's a little bit of a twofold, but stretching is great.
I saw another hand.
Okay, so I didn't do the like wake up at 5 a.m., go straight to the gym. I never eat before. Is that like harming me? Like, is that not good? But I just don't like to eat before I work out.
It's whatever works for you.
Okay.
I do like to eat a little bit. I do have some carbs. If not, I just have a bad workout. But that's me. Whatever works for you is great. You do what works for you, and as long as you're making progress and seeing the results that you want, then stick with that.
I have a different answer. No, I'm just going to say that from the hormonal perspective, on the hormone side of things, it is better to eat first thing in the morning as a woman. Specifically, that's why intermittent fasting is not recommended highly for women. I would say you don't have to eat a massive breakfast. I think that's where we go wrong. Why we think we need to have like this long drawn out breakfast, a piece of toast with a boiled egg, a thing of Greek yogurt with a little bit of granola, a couple of dates and a handful of nuts. Those things are going to give your body what it needs to thrive. And versus, think about it like this. You go to the gym and you've been sleeping for 8 hours, right? Your body's depleted. Then you're going to the gym and you're putting in all this work and you're going from here below zero, right? With no energy. And then you have to get all the way back home. You have to wait till you make your breakfast. At that point, your body's been 12 hours, maybe more, without food. It's very hard on your hormone system specifically. So if I could recommend anything, lean into something small. Your body is going to crave it. If you do it for a couple of weeks, your body's going to be like, oh, I like eating food in the morning, because you just will get used to it. But that's my only takeaway from that.
And I'll say, when you eat before you go, you start your metabolism. So when you eat a little something, your metabolism starts. So then your energy is there. You're ramping up what you're doing in the gym. And like she said, it doesn't have to be big. One thing I do is like a date with some almond butter, peanut butter, and some sea salt, like 2 of them. It's not big. It's little, but it starts my metabolism. It makes me feel good. It gets me going to help me have a good workout.